Welcome back to Goldwynn Dinner Club. I'm Grif,
I'm Parker.
and we're watching gameplay of Super Metroid.
Yeah, we are playing. I mean, the collective we,
Yeah,
are playing. As in, people nearby are playing Super Metroid, going for it, and Samus is having a go of it. Are you familiar with all the sort of Samus lore? Would you like a quick sort of?
take us through it.
Let me give you a quick dossier. And there's some manga. There's like some tiny little novels, but it's kind of she's a fascinating character, dude. So Samus, right? Grew up on a space colony. I'm pretty sure it's called K2L, something like that. Everything's letters and numbers, but I'm pretty sure it's called K2L. And she had a couple parents who I believe were like Federation officers, and they may have been scientists. It's always something like that, right? Space pirates raid the colony. They kill just about everyone. I believe in the manga, Ridley eats people, which is insane and horrifying. I mean, he is a nasty space dragon, but like he talks to and he's like, God, I love eating people, and you're like, this wasn't necessary. Like he could have just killed people, but so it's brutal, and the only couple people who are left over who survive are Samus, who was able to hide because she was a kid, and a couple of Chozo who are there. They see her, they feel bad for her, they take her back to their planet, which I believe is Zebes. This planet here, I believe, is where she's actually supposed to have come from, which is why there are sort of Chozo ruins. I guess there are Chozo ruins all across the galaxy. I may have that wrong, but they took her. Why they did all this, I'm not entirely sure, but they infused her with Chozo DNA so that she could reach sort of beyond peak human ability and interact with all their like crazy space armor stuff. Trained her to be kind of a warrior, and who knows, maybe that's what she wanted. Maybe she's like, I want revenge against people who do this. This is a little bit of a Batman scenario. So she becomes this badass sort of warrior on her own. At some point, she goes, joins the Galactic Federation. God only knows why. I guess maybe that's where she thinks she can get the quickest revenge. Doesn't really happen. Has a falling out. And keeps pursuing this stuff on her own as kind of an independent bounty hunter. But that sliver of an origin has captivated so many like fans of Metroid. That's why you're constantly seeing fan art of her like looking kind of cybernetic or like mutilated and scarred and stuff. People are like, look, if you took some orphan kid and like infused crazy DNA and made her train and interact with all this armor, she's probably gonna look jacked up. And I kind of agree with that. That she's like, it's weird that you take off the armor and it's like, it's me, Baywatch. You're like, what? Shouldn't you be like a freak? Like, shouldn't you be messed up?
After fusion, she got fused to her suit.
That's what they say, but then at the end of the game, you beat it and she takes the armor off and she looks fine. So, it's like,
I guess that's true.
It's weird that they kind of want to have their cake and eat it too, but I think I speak for like 90% of Metroid fans when I say a lot of us would prefer it if she just looked jacked up. Just like,
I don't think a lot of people mind seeing her just in her Baileys.
Oh, there you go. Like that. There's that too. The sort of sad fan service thing. All right, this is Crocomeyer. He's one of the most fascinating video game bosses of all time. I love that you just have to push him back, and he
looks like Phineas and Ferb.
He's got the conical nose.
Yeah.
Raymond from OKKO.
And all of his eyes are on one side of his head.
Family dog. There he goes. Oh, the noise this thing makes is so gross. His flesh is all like melting, and he's got pustules and a yellow worm tongue. Get out of here, you sick freak. Get out of here.
You know what would be a good crossover is Metroid and Star Fox.
I agree. A lot of bounties. Same with F-Zero. I have always wanted to see an F-Zero, like specifically a Captain Falcon, like platinum game style, like character action game, like Bayonetta or like Devil May Cry, and to have Samus be a cameo level in it, because and to be like, you chase a lot of bounties, you're fighting, and then you run into Samus and you're hunting the same bounty. have wanted to see that story come true for the longest time. Isn't that horrific? Look at that. We're so sorry for any tender viewers watching this. And here comes the worst part.
Why is she running like that?
It's kind of like throttling her because this is about to happen. Oh man. Oh god. No. Oh, everything's fine. Okay. Oh!
Oh, whoa.
Get a little. It's a dry bones. Yeah, it's your first time playing this. You're like, no, come on. This took so long. But yeah, I think Star Fox is good too. What's weird is that she's crossed over with Mario and Mario RPG. Then she's sleeping in a bed at one point.
She was in Donkey Kong Country too.
Yes, there's like a little bit of a reference there, and she's also in Kirby 3. If you beat up all the Metroids, you run into Samus, and she gives you a thumbs up, like, thanks, man.
Oh, really?
She's like, yeah.
See, I always thought Kirby and Samus would go together really well.
Definitely. I agree.
They'd be a great buddy comedy.
I totally 100% agree.
Because she's like all serious and angry and violent, and like Kirby is all cute and lovable,
and she's got a soft spot for like tiny round aliens who commit atrocities.
Yeah, no, she's a hero. She's like, she wants to protect like innocent creatures. But Kirby doesn't need to be protected. And it'd just be funny to see Kirby keep eating her so Kirby can use her power.
I think that plot is really simple. The Federation is after Kirby because he's a wonderful like weapon. They want to harness his black hole energy. And Samus is like, no. And so while he can defend himself, like probably not from an entire armada. So Samus is like, I'm going to protect you. They're going to solve the mystery together. You go back and forth with a little Kirby gameplay, a little Samus gameplay. And eventually you combine in some bizarre way.
Can you do the Mother Brain from Captain N?
Oh man, I was just talking about that. So, if you guys aren't familiar, Captain N was like this weird Nintendo licensed cartoon that had a bunch of old NES era characters in it. Simon Belmont.
Yeah, there was like a Zelda-esque character, but she wasn't technically Zelda.
Yeah, it was like some princess from video game. But there was a Zelda crossover where like the whole thing was that Zelda was hot for, that was his name, Kevin or whatever, Captain N, over Link, and Link was really jealous. Weird episode. Anyway, Mother, even though Samus never appeared to my knowledge, I think she's like in a comic. There's like a famous panel where she's like, she has a crush on Kevin too, I guess. Maybe that's every gamer's fantasy, right? Like in the 80s, like all the girls like me. Just sad. But there's like a famous panel where she's like, "Come away with me, Kevin. All the riches of the galaxy could be ours." And he's like, "Nah, baby." Anyway, even though she never appeared, Mother Brain, Samus never appeared. Mother Brain is like the main antagonist for some reason of Captain N.
And King Hippo.
King Hippo and Eggplant Wizard are like her minions. And she is voiced by the one and only Levi Stubbs of the Four Tops, famous Motown band, who also did Audrey 2 and Little Shop of Horrors. And I gotta tell you, so good. I'm gonna pale in comparison. Please look it up after this. But it's a lot of like, ooh, I hate that Samus. She gets me riled up, baby. It's just, it's like, what? That's the villainous, like, artificial intelligence who wants Samus? Get her! I'm gonna lose my beans, boys. It's just, like, really campy and, like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, Levi Stubbs is insanely good. And no matter what you may think about that old cartoon, it's like, at least that was really funny and weird. And what a choice. Like,
yeah, I always
check it out.
They should bring that cartoon back.
Definitely.
Like, that there's so much potential there. And like if they could really get Nintendo to really like let them use a lot of their properties. Like you don't have to use Mario or Zelda.
Yeah,
you
use
can
the
use some of the
D-listers.
lesser knowns. There's so many lesser knowns that I want to see.
Captain Falcon's not doing nothing.
No, yeah.
Pit's not doing nothing.
Super Smash Bros. Alone, you've got a huge roster of characters that are otherwise not really being used in anything else.
Yeah.
Like what's Duck Hunt Dog doing? You know, nothing.
Yeah, let him hang out with Captain N. It's fine. Let him hang out.
Let
him
Duck
chill.
Hunt Dog steal Captain N's kills. That's what I always thought was happening in that game. I thought the dog was like stealing the duck that you killed. And I was like, get back here.
I couldn't tell you what's happening in that game. You're killing ducks. At least it's fairly clear on its premise.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me. Like, do you know how that game worked? Because it's like
it could sense the TV screen.
It was like this. Whenever you pull the trigger, it makes the screen turn. I think it's like entirely white, and then your there's like a mirror inside the zapper basically.
Yeah.
And that like reflects back onto it. So wherever that black square is when you pull the trigger, that's where it's detecting a hit. It's like the weirdest way, because you think like, oh, it's some laser infrared. No, it's just super basic. It's smoke and mirrors. Like it's like the practical effects of video games. When I like read that the first time, it blew my mind how somebody could engineer something so simple to appear so magical back in the day. Like
I didn't have one of those. Well, that's been another episode of Goldwynn Dinner Club. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See ya.